clearly unentitled Adam Mockler. On the smug-o-meter, he is a 0, and thus our favorite young progressive. Adam, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me. I try not to be smug. So that's I'm glad I'm a 0 on the smug meter.
You totally succeed. So what did you make of this alleged rift?
Honestly, I think people are over-indexing on both of their political beliefs. I'm not sure I believe this reporting at face value. I think this is one of those things where everybody is riling themselves up. People on the left were reactionary with the Sydney Sweeney ad. I don't think there was much to read into it. I think it was just like weird wording. But then people on the right become ultra-reactionary as well and claim Sydney Sweeney is one of theirs. They're like, Sydney Sweeney she's one of ours. She's our far-right queen, our MAGA queen. I don't think she's inherently either. She hasn't said anything inherently political herself, right? Like, she hasn't come out and made some political statement. She acted weird in an interview. So I think people are being quite reactionary. And I guess when they really do their media tour coming up, we'll see if they stand next to each other.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, it's kind of like how our media is framed. You know, like, I love your videos because I watch them and I get so angry at you, but then I'm like, no, I love Adam. You know, it's such an interesting back and forth in my own emotional reaction to them because, of course, when we put out the media, we're all trying to troll because we're trying to get that attention. How do we balance that with sort of depolarizing, taking down the temperature, which is something I think we all agree we need to do?
I think it's hard in this algorithmic-driven political society that we live in. All of the time, everything is driven by algorithms. And I hate to play the blame game, but Donald Trump is the one who plays it the most at the highest level. He posts like 8 times a day in an inflammatory way that is meant to stir people up. What does he say on the holidays? It'll be like Christmas, and he'll say, Merry Christmas to everybody except for the radical left. He's the master of trolling. So I think it starts with him, and then I'll follow suit. And then we can all follow suit.
All right, so when you look at Democratic leaders, are you drawn to those who resist that urge? There's this guy, Jack Schlossberg, JFK's grandson. Now he's running for Congress in New York. He's a big online troll. He's very young. He knows how to use social media. Is he somebody who's going to speak to Gen Z, or do you find yourself more drawn to people who are kind of more common ground folks reaching across the aisle?
I like both in different scenarios. So Governor Gavin Newsom drew a lot of attention to Prop 50 through some online posts. That was very successful, but that wouldn't work for like Andy Bashir, right? It's unique to Governor Gavin Newsom. When it comes to Jack Schlossberg, I thought his online posts were funny. I'm not sure they'll translate over to a congressional race. It's really hard for young people to get a race off the ground when you're relying on social media. Like, I've seen so many young candidates run against a legit lawyer who's like 45, and the young candidate always is in over their head a little bit. So I'm not saying that's going to happen with him, but I'm saying you can't rely too much on online posting when you're just starting out. Trump is unique in that. Governor Newsom is unique in that. Jack Schlossberg probably needs to canvass a lot more than he needs to post.
So one of the topics that's really driving a lot of the conversation right now is young men, the struggle to sort of make it, to achieve the American dream, the problem with housing. This is being used by some to explain the rise of someone like Nick Fuentes, a white nationalist who's getting a lot of, play right now. I personally think there's a little bit of a moral panic happening here. It does seem to me like a lot of the people who are engaging with this far right or extremist stuff, is there really a big difference between a Hassan Piker's audience and then a Nick Fuentes audience, a Candace Owens audience? Do you see this as a political movement, or do you agree with me that this is more of an online culture type of a story?
I think it's bigger than you think, and I think it's coming from the online. So I think after COVID, there's a lack of socialization in people in my generation. I mean, before it was like that due to the internet, but COVID really accelerated the lack of socialization. So now a lot of young people are struggling to get capital, struggling to invest in the system. If you don't have housing, you're not invested in the system with capital. If you're in healthcare debt or if you're in student debt, you are literally negative in capital. So then you have every incentive to turn against the system. That explains the rise of someone like Hassan Piker, even someone like Zohran Mamdani. And then on the other side, that same struggle, the same lack of socialization, I think also leads to the rise of someone like Nick Fuentes, because he gives an easy scapegoat, an easy out. Oh, look, it's just quote unquote the Jewish people, or it's women, or it's black people. That's the reason your life is bad. I don't know why balloons are coming up right now. I'm sorry.
I love it.
But yeah, but also at the same.
Because you're not knocking it out of the park, Adam.
I think that explains the rise of these extremes on both sides. On top of that, you know, foreign actors love to see people like Nick Fuentes gain political power, but don't underestimate his movements. They are gaining actual footing in the Republican Party. Just look at that young Republican group chat full of 20 to 30 to 40-year-olds who were saying crazy stuff about gas chambers.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.